Hi, my name is Christian, and today I will be talking about ethics. Ethics is, at first, it seems like a simple subject, but it's actually very complex. Most people would tell you they know what ethics is, they know what right and wrong is, but there's a lot more to it than just that. So, there are a few different branches of ethics, one being normative ethics. So, normative ethics is the way in which you can determine what is morally right or morally wrong by applying a moral theory to any ethical problems or situations. It's basically trying to figure out whether our moral norms as a society are correct. The next one is metaethics. Metaethics is thinking about ethics itself. It's asking questions such as what is right and what is wrong? What makes something right and wrong? And so there are two different thought processes when it comes to this. The first is moral realism. Moral realists believe that there's an objective right or wrong independent from one's own beliefs or personal opinions. There's something that is concretely right and concretely wrong, nothing else. The opposite of this is anti-realism. Anti-realists believe that ethics is relative to a culture's code and that no culture's ethics are superior to those of a different one. An easy way to determine which side you lay on more is to think about in ancient times when the Aztecs would sacrifice humans. If you think that is wrong, then you would be a moral realist. Because according to their culture, that would have been something that was morally correct and something that was completely fine to do. So, a very interesting problem with ethics is the grounding problem. And that is, where does ethics come from? Does it come from religion? Does it come from our own biology? Or is there something else? This is a problem that there really isn't any clear solution to, but there are many different schools of thoughts. So, the next branch of ethics is applied ethics. With what this is that when we, through the lens of a moral theory, we look at ethical dilemmas in our own world. And using that, we try to determine what is the ethically correct course of action to take in a given situation. So, moral theories are basically theories that try to explain what makes things right and what makes things wrong and why this is. So, they're kind of a framework that we use to talk about moral issues. And no moral theory is perfect. For the most part, when someone is using a moral theory, they will also think about what seems morally correct or incorrect to them and kind of tweak the theory a little bit to better suit themselves. One example of a moral theory is divine command theory. Basically, that theory is that morality comes from God, and what God says is moral. But a problem with this that can be summed up pretty fairly quickly is called the Euthyphro dilemma. So basically, if you take a look at murder while using the Euthyphro dilemma, you think about if murder is immoral because God says it is, then there must be no reason that moral is morally wrong other than that God says it is. And if it is wrong only because God says it is, then that means that God's commands would be arbitrary. And thinking about this a different way, if God forbids murder, then there must be a reason for that. There must be a reason for it to be wrong. But that would also mean that God would not be the source of morality, and it is something that we as humans could figure out on our own, independent of God. And that would make him simply a middleman to deliver commands. So, in my own life, I would my goal is to try to become a therapist, and so ethics would be something that would be very important to that. When treating a patient and talking to them, you would have to give them good, sound ethical advice. You can't tell them do things that would be wrong. You can't tell them to go steal or go kill someone or hurt someone. And if a patient were to tell you that they could be a danger to themselves or to other people's, you must think about that through your own lens of morality and, of course, follow the laws of the area that you are in. But you must raise awareness to what's going on. If there's something that you can do, then you have a moral responsibility to do that, as in informing law enforcement if something were to happen. Thank you very much.